How much does a regular coffee cost? €1, 2, 3 if they've put a little heart in the foam? And yet there are people paying €600 for a cup made with grains that have passed through an animal's digestive system. Yes, the famous Kopi Luwak coffee. The funny thing is this. These people probably think that we car geeks are crazy for paying $500,000 for a special version of a car that normally costs $5,000. And perhaps they are right. But there's a difference. Coffee is drunk and disappears. These cars become history. Today we'll look at 7 absurdly expensive versions of cheap cars that surprisingly actually make sense. They make no economic sense. But they do make cultural, mechanical, and emotional sense. Let's go. Number 7. Volkswagen New Beetle RSI. When Volkswagen resurrected the Beetle in the 2000s, it didn't try to make the people's car again. He tried to make a fashion item. The original Beetle was a utility car. The new Beetle was a lifestyle accessory. But someone inside Volkswagen had a brilliant idea. What if we make a completely ridiculous one? And so the Beetle RSI 2001 was born. Only 250 units. 3.2-liter naturally aspirated VR6 engine. The same block as the Golf R, 32. 225 GP, Haldex all-wheel drive. 6-speed manual transmission. But the important thing wasn't the power. That was the attitude. Handmade widened fins, completely naked interior. Roll cage bucket seats without rear seat, without a hippie vase. This Beetle was basically shouting, "I'm not nice, I'm dangerous." Back in the day, it cost the same as 2 Porsche Boxsters. Today, it easily exceeds €150,000. A car born as an aesthetic joke turned into a collector's item because nobody expected Volkswagen to take the joke so seriously. Number 6. Buick Regal GNX is the definition of a wolf in civil servant's clothing. On the outside, it's an 80s Buick Regal, a car your grandpa would use to go to the pharmacy. But in 1987, Buick did something very strange. He built a muscle car without a V8, V6 3.8 turbo, prepared with the help of McLaren performance technologies. 276 GP officially, but in reality, close to 300. 0 to 60 miles per hour in 4.7 seconds, faster than a Ferrari F40, in the 1/4 mile according to tests of the time. And all this in the midst of an emissions crisis when V8 engines were completely choked. Only 547 units. The original price is $29,000. Today's price reaches $300,000. The reason is simple. It's the last muscle car from the dark age of the 80s. The car that proved that American performance was not dead. Number 5. Mercedes 190e Evo 2. The Mercedes 190e was born for one mission: to steal buyers from the BMW 3 Series. But Mercedes didn't just want to compete in dealerships. He wanted to humiliate them on the track. So they called Cosworth. The engine is a 2.5 naturally aspirated engine with 235 horsepower and 8,200 revolutions per minute. There are only 502 units, but the real star was that it had the most exaggerated spoiler ever mounted on a luxury sedan. And it worked. Mercedes dominated the 1992 DTM. The new price was 115,000 marks. Today it's up to €400,000. It's not expensive because it's beautiful. It's expensive because it's a street-legal race car. Number 4, Ford Mustang GTD. For decades, the Mustang meant cheap power. But in 2025, Ford did something unthinkable. He created a Mustang that cost more than a Lamborghini Huracan when it came out new. The Mustang GTD cost $325,000, and that's not marketing. It's basically a GT3 car with a license plate. 815 GP supercharged rear transaxle pushrod suspension. Active aerodynamics 3D printed titanium structural carbon fiber. Ford wants to beat the Nürburgring with it. This is the first time the Mustang has ceased to be a muscle car and has become a homologated American supercar. That's why it's sold before it's even manufactured. Number 3, Renault Clio V6. 6. Imagine taking a supermarket hatchback and deciding to turn it into a poor man's Ferrari. Renault did it. They removed the rear seats and put a V6 in the middle. It has between 230 and 255 horsepower. Rear-wheel drive, short wheelbase, Weight at the rear. Result, terrifying driving. He was famous for violently oversteering without warning. It wasn't made for rallying. It wasn't made for homologation. It was done for the image. A halo car. About 2,800 were sold. Today they exceed 100,000 euros. Because it's the definition of industrial madness. A utilitarian vehicle designed by accountants, transformed by bored engineers. Number 2, Corvette C3 ZL1. Here we enter mythical territory. In 1969, Chevrolet had a secret engine, the aluminum ZL1 for Can-Am competition. It was officially not available to the public. Unofficially, yes. 2 customers discovered a loophole in the fleet ordering system and ordered a Corvette with that engine, but the engine cost more than the car. The result was approximately 550 real horsepower and a car capable of going from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in less than 4 seconds. The price at the time was more than a house. There are only 2 units. Its current value is several million. It's not unusual. It's almost an administrative error that has become a legend. Number 1. Lancia Delta S4 Stradale. To understand this car, you have to understand Group B, a time when the FIA basically said, build whatever you want as long as you sell some road cars. And the engineers replied, perfect. The regular Delta was a forgettable hatchback. But the Delta S4 was something else. Central engine all-wheel drive turbo, plus compressor tubular chassis, fiberglass body. It was practically a prototype with a license plate. 200 units were required. Around 80 were made before Group B was cancelled. Today it costs more than 1 million euros, because it represents the wildest era in automotive history, when manufacturers competed without fear or limits. So, yeah, paying 600 euros for a coffee may seem absurd, but paying 300,000 for a Mustang, or $1 million for a Lancia? It's not about buying transport, it's buying a unique moment in the history of engineering. Cheap cars keep the world moving. Crazy versions make us remember it. See you in the next video.